Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam dear devotees. Today we shall read the page number 54. The question was, should purificatory processes be revived? They should be revived as far as necessary. But all of them cannot be revived in this age. So people should take to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then all reformation will be there. And people will come to the spiritual platform, Brahma Bhuta. The realization of Brahman, Nan Prasannatma, they will be happy, na shochati na kangshati. There will be no lamentation or needless hankering. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. They will see everyone on the spiritual platform. And finally, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. In this way, they will come to the platform of devotional service, and then their life becomes successful. Is that question answered or not? Pusta Krishna. Yes, just one question I have, Śrila Prabhupāda. You said that the samskara should be revived as far as necessary. Śrila Prabhupāda, the essentials, for instance, to make one Brahmana, these four things are essential: no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. These essentials must be there. You cannot dispense with them. You must at least avoid sinful activities. Then one can practice Krishna consciousness. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Esam tva anta gatam papam jananam punya karmanam tidvandva moha nirmukta bhajanti mam drada vrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in the service with determination. You cannot become a devotee unless you give up sinful activity. Therefore, you have to begin by following these four prohibitions. You have to avoid sinful activities like illicit sex, meat eating, gambling and intoxication, including tobacco, coffee and tea. Then you will gradually become completely sinless. On one side you have to follow restrictions, and on the other side you have to engage yourself in devotional service. To engage oneself in devotional service under the order of the spiritual master and the Shastra is the way to remain on the transcendental platform. The transcendental platform means there is no sinful activity. It is above any question of sinful, pious and sinful activities are there only as long as you are on the material platform. Good and bad, pious and sinful, these are all considerations on the material platform. But when you are on the transcendental platform, you are automatically without sin. Krishna confirms this in Bhagavad Gita 14.26. Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samityanyan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. The life of vice and the life of pity are within this material world. But when one is spiritually engaged, he is above the material plane, on the spiritual plane. So the whole thing is that if you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and give up these sinful activities, automatically you become reformed. You come to the spiritual platform, and in this way your life will become successful. Feel the oneness with the difference. Pusta Krishna. This next question is rather interesting. Śrila Prabhupāda. Is it not possible for all kinds of spiritualists, be they Advaitans, advocates of oneness of the self with God, Dvaitans, advocates of total difference between the self and God, or Vasistha Dvaitans, advocates of qualified oneness of the self with God, to come together instead of remaining isolated as varying factions? Śrila Prabhupāda. Yes, this is the process taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to bring all the Dvaitans and Advaitans together on one platform. Everyone has to understand that he is essentially a servant of God. The Advaitan wrongly thinks that he is absolutely one with God, that he himself is God. That is wrong. How can you become God? God is Sat Aishwarya Purnam, full in 6 opulences. He has all power, all wealth, all beauty, all fame, all knowledge, and all renunciation. So this Advaitan idea is artificial, to think you are able to become God. The Dvaitans stress that one is utterly different from God, that God is separate from the living entity. But actually, from the Bhagavad Gita, we understand that the living entities are part and parcel of God. And in the Vedas it is said, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas, Chetananam Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. Both God and His creatures are living entities. Though God is the chief, Eko Yo Bahunam Vidadhati Kaman. The difference between the two is that God maintains all the other living entities. That is a fact. We are maintained and God is the maintainer. We are predominated, we are not independent, and God is the predominator. But because the predominated living entities are part and parcel of God, in quality they are one with God. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is Achintya Bheda Bheda. The living entities are simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. The living entity is one in the sense that he is part and parcel of God. So if God were gold, the living entity would also be gold. That is oneness in quality. But God is great and we are minute. In that way, we are different. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enunciated this philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda, inconceivable simultaneous oneness with and difference from God. That is real philosophy. So on the platform of this philosophy, everyone can come together if they are reasonable. If they remain unreasonable, stuck up in their own concocted philosophy, then it is difficult. But it is a fact that the living entity is eternally one with and different from God. Find this verse, Mamaivanso Jiva Loke, Hari Sauri, Mamaivamso Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manaha Sastanindriyani, Prakriti Stani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses which include the mind, Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Śrila Prabhupāda. So if the living entity is eternally a fragmental part, how can he become one with the whole? The part is never equal to the whole. That is an axiomatic truth. So it is a wrong conception to try to become equal to God. The Mayavadis are trying to become God, but that is impossible. Let them try to become godly. Godly means servant of God. That will make them perfect. The Vaishnava philosophy teaches that we can remain in our natural position but act as a servant of God. That is perfect. But if the servant tries to become the master, that is artificial. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Śrila Prabhupāda.